Hello and welcome back to another wonderful day here at MSA. So glad to see you. So it seems like today is a day where we want to make a little bit more sense about something that just doesn't make sense, which is the fact that the Department of Justice is having a problem issuing subpoenas for the Oversight Committee when it comes to this investigation on Joe Biden and Hunter Biden and the Biden family. Now, of course, old Merrick Garland wants to protect Joe Biden as much as he possibly can, and that's been very apparent this whole ride. Anybody that doesn't see it is just not paying attention or has no idea what obstruction looks like. Because trust me, these guys don't want anything to go forward on Joe Biden whatsoever. It reminds me of the way that Epstein kept getting, or Epstein, however you want to say Jeffrey's name, how he kept getting away with so much stuff for so many years because he knew people everywhere. And so they just kept pushing things away until finally they couldn't cover it up anymore. Well, it's kind of like what's going on with Joe here. You've got all this stuff that keeps coming out and coming out. You got these Biden supporters everywhere that are just screaming, oh, it's a witch hunt by MAGA and all this stuff. It's not a witch hunt by MAGA. It's called American law and justice. If you are a public official, especially one of the highest orders, and you are out running amok, you need to be brought to justice. If you're burning down our country behind our back, of course you need to be brought to justice. That's my opinion. And I'm sure a lot of you have the same opinion. But you know what? We're going to roll a clip here in just a second with James Comer. He's talking with the people over at Fox. They're going to let you know a little bit about what's going on. Give me 2 minutes or so you can watch this clip real fast, and we'll get back to it. And we'll start talking about it a little bit more. While you're watching the clip, do us a favor. If you're following us on Rumble, hit that follow button. We'd really appreciate it, as well as give us a thumbs up. But also, tap the screen while you're watching this because, see, there's two different types of views. If you're just watching it as it's just sitting there, that's one thing. You tap the screen, it means you actually want to watch the thing, and it gives us a little more credit, and we appreciate that, all right? So we'll be right back. Watch this clip, and see you in just a second.
Biden's Department of Justice putting up a fight, refusing to comply with subpoenas for 4 different government attorneys involved in the criminal investigation of Hunter Biden.
The House Judiciary Committee says these subpoenas bring them closer to connecting Joe Biden to his son's business, but the DOJ says the subpoenas are unconstitutional and unjustified.
Joining us now, Chairman of the House Oversight Committee, James Comer. Congressman, Chairman, good to see you. Tell us more about this fight, these subpoenas for these 4 attorneys and next steps for you.
Well, we're certainly going to do everything we can. We're in the phase of the investigation where we want to bring people in. We want to know about not just the crimes the Biden family's committed, but we also want to know about the deep state actors who were a part of the cover-up, because there's 2 components to this investigation. The component that my oversight committee is leading with respect to the financial crimes that the Bidens committed, the influence peddling, the fact that Joe Biden wasn't honest with the American people, the fact that we're proving every day that he did meet with all the people he said he never met with, that he did, in fact, benefit financially from his family's influence peddling schemes, and the fact that there are people within the government that knew about this. The Bidens were investigated by the Department of Justice. They were investigated by the FBI. They were investigated by the IRS. They were investigated by the Securities and Exchange Commission for years. But yet when it got time to ask Joe questions, then they were told to stand down. And what we want to do at the end of this investigation is not only list and refer the crimes the Bidens committed, but also identify the what I call the deep state actors in the government who were involved in the cover-up. And to do that, we need to bring people in. We need to ask them questions, and that's what we're fighting for with these subpoenas.
Okay, now, how is asking for 4 subpoenas on people that worked at the White House that might have some understanding about these documents, how is that unconstitutional? Okay, they're not asking, the janitors to come in and see and testify how often did he use the bathroom and things like that. They're asking for legitimate people. These are 4 attorneys that they're asking to come forward and testify, so they understand what's going on with these classified documents. Because, see, there's another part that you're not going to hear very often, that they didn't say it even in that clip. And it's also Joe Biden's attorney omitted some of the material about one of the locations of these documents. What are on those documents? That's what the Oversight Committee wants to know. If it has anything to do with this influence peddling that they're accusing President Biden of, that's what they want to know. What is on these documents? And there are people, like they're trying to subpoena, that know what was on the documents. They may or may not be able to disclose all the information, but they can answer questions in reference to the information to help the Oversight Committee understand if that's why Biden had these documents. See, remember something. Just because Robert Hur came out with his report and said Biden's memory will not allow him to stand trial, that doesn't mean this goes away. That doesn't mean it never happened. And now that we've come to this, conclusion whether he can stand trial or not, it just goes to the wayside. That's not how this works. Okay? It still was a crime. He can't do that. We've covered this multiple times. You hear it all over the place. Listen, the family was up to no good. We all know this. It's getting to be entertainment at best anymore. Because you watch what's going on with former President Trump and all these things, and the Fannie Willis stuff and the Tisha James, the ridiculous fines, all the stuff. I mean, you've got fines of close to $400 million now based on a victimless crime. That's not even a joke. That's insulting. Businesses are leaving New York left and right. Okay, but what you don't have is the facts and the truth behind all the stuff in the Biden family. We're going to roll one more clip. Please pay attention to this clip. There's a few things I really want to bring up when it's done. Again, hit the follow button if you have a moment. We'd really appreciate you to do that, and share this. We want other people to see what we're doing. It would be great. So anyway, we'll be right back. Watch this clip, and I'm telling you, it's worth the watch.
Chairman Comer, not only some of the evidence has shown that they didn't want to allow interviews of Joe Biden, but also that Hunter Biden would have had millions of dollars of income that is a crime he didn't pay taxes on, and they let the statute of limitations at the Department of Justice run on those crimes. That doesn't happen to anybody. You owe them $100 and they come for you. The statute never runs when you owe money to the IRS. And are you inquiring as to whether there was undue influence as well on the prosecutors to let the statute of limitations run on Hunter Biden's charges?
Yeah, I mean, look, David Weiss was the guy who let the statute of limitations expire. And yet he was the one appointed by Merrick Garland to supposedly investigate the Bidens for criminal wrongdoing. I mean, give me a break. What a joke. The guy that allowed the statute of limitations to expire is the guy that we're supposed to defer to in this investigation. I mean, I'm not going to let that happen because this guy's already proven, David Weiss, that he's soft on the Bidens, right? And the fact that Joe Biden campaigned on doubling the size of the IRS, the fact that Joe Biden says he wants to go after tax cheats, so he's going to need more federal employees in the IRS to go after tax cheats. Well, he doesn't need to look any further than his family if he wants to look at tax sheets, because not only did they not pay taxes on their taxable income that they had W-2s on, John, they also didn't report all these loans that they got in. We found millions of dollars in loans that Jim Biden and Hunter Biden took in that they've never paid a penny back on. And you're a financial services guy. At what point are those loans income? And that's unpaid taxes. Then many of the influence peddling wires they got in through the shell companies, they used the shells to pay for basic living expenses like groceries. So they wrote those off as income, as business expenses, and they weren't. The two IRS whistleblowers testified these weren't legitimate business expenses. So I think we could make a strong case that both Hunter and Jim Biden owe millions more dollars to the IRS, and then Joe Biden, this $250,000 he got from his family that he's calling a loan repayment. I mean, that's taxable income as well, because there's no evidence that he actually made the loan. So, I mean, the financial crimes never end with this family.
All right, there you have it. Now, look, let's just break down 3 parts of that, all right? David Weiss, tax cheats, and loans. Let's start with loans. So, according to the IRS, a loan is, you borrow money from someone, and it has to have written documentation in order to be a loan. So, when you borrow money from a person, a family member, whatever, it has to be accompanied with the proper documentation, or it's considered to be income. There's several spots on the IRS website that will tell you about it. You can Google it and find out the quick answer if you'd like, but it's in there. So, loans, which goes into tax cheats. So Biden did campaign on the fact that he was going to get tax cheats, which I think was a little screen cover-up, because there's lots of money that the Biden family has received. They call them all loans, and they say this, that, and the other. But in reality, it's income. When David Weiss allowed the statute of limitations to expire, one of the reasons that he allowed the statute of limitations to expire was the fact that those were the years that if Hunter had to present that documentation would have directly implicated the Biden family on where the money came from, which was China, Kazakhstan, Ukraine. I believe Romania was also in there in that timeline. Not 100% specific on that, but I'm pretty sure it was. Either way, Ukraine and China alone, boom, busted. But the big part about all that is David Weiss let that statute of limitations expire when Hunter Biden's attorney had already agreed with the IRS that they were going to extend the statute on those, because they can do that. And they were okay with that. And Weiss said, oh no, I got, talking with my boss and all this, but it's out of my control, and when it was actually in his control, and he just allowed these things to expire. It was one of the reasons that got the IRS whistleblowers involved in that. They came forward to expose all this that was going on, because they could smell something was really dirty. Now, going into David Weiss. David Weiss has been on this for over 5 years. Okay. Merrick Garland turns around and says when he appointed Weiss as special counsel, he promised he wouldn't get involved and all of that. This is one of the largest scandals of our time right now. Okay. And think about in the last 20 years, what other scandal other than Bernie Madoff has made bigger headlines? The ones that come to mind, let's see, Bernie Madoff, Jeffrey Epstein, and that's it of this scale, okay? You say, oh, well, there was all these other people and all. No. You're talking about a family that if they're found guilty, they're burning down our country behind our backs, okay? This is a big deal. This is huge. Now, David Weiss, we're not done covering him yet. Let's just do this really fast. You ready? David Weiss, special counsel, investigating Hunter Biden. What did David Weiss also used to do? Let's see. Beau Biden, which was the older brother to Hunter as well. Beau Biden was the attorney general in Delaware. Okay? He worked hand in hand with David Weiss on a lot of cases, going after fraud. Not making this up. Beau Biden was also looking at running for governor, and David Weiss was going to be along on that trail. You don't find this. Go ahead, Google it. You won't find. Google it. You won't find it. You'll find some stuff on David Weiss. You'll find some stuff on Beau Biden. You won't find anything connecting David Weiss and Beau Biden. You have to know where to look to go find that information. Okay. You might get a little snippet, but that's it. It won't go into depth. Now, David Weiss also worked as a U.S. attorney under Obama and Biden for 2 years. Imagine that. They say, oh, but he's a Republican. He was put in under Trump and all that. Of course he was. There's also things called a rhino out there. Get with the program, America. And I'm not pointing at you guys. I'm just saying, get with the program here. Let's look at all of this. You don't investigate something that's as black and white as half of this stuff is for 5 years. Weiss is known for getting his man quickly. He's extremely aggressive investigator. He's made a big name for himself. And yet, when it comes to Hunter Biden, it's kid gloves. Because again, he worked with Beau Biden on many cases investigating fraud. He's known Joe Biden for many years. He's known the Biden family. There's no coincidence here at all. They're all from Delaware. Let's just get real. Let's get really real about all this, okay? Now, last but not least, this is all corruption that's burning down our country. And I'm not coming to you to like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this is happening. Of course I believe it's happening. It's behind money. A lot of people in these high places get greedy on money. Look at some of our congressmen and our senators that come in and they don't have a lot of money, and all of a sudden they leave and they've got tens of millions of dollars in the bank from, as simple as trading stocks. Why are our congressmen and senators allowed to be on the stock exchange making money when they can get insider information? They know the bills that are coming up. They know what's going to get passed. They understand defense budgets that are going to get passed and what companies are going to be making all this money. They get to review all this stuff long before we ever hear about it. And they're all making money on it. Both sides, don't think it's one side versus the other. It's both sides making tons of money on this stuff. So how are we going to stop this corruption? It's corruption. Okay, I'm not the guy that just keeps coming out and saying, oh my gosh, punish Biden, punish Biden. But you know what? If the shoe fits, wear it. You look at what they're doing to Trump. They just got Trump for $355 million on a victimless crime. There is no basis behind that dollar amount. Zero. There's no victim. Okay, what they did is called made up. If you notice, all these laws that they keep coming after Trump with are all old. Okay, racketeering, that goes way back. Insurrection, that goes all the way back to the Civil War. I mean, come on. Let's get real. Why? Because the laws of modern day and age, there's nothing that comes after him. They can't make anything up because those laws are so old that they have little loopholes all over the place that were never done up. So they're trying to get him stuck in all this stuff so he can't run for the election. But what about Joe Biden? We're not doing anything about it. I mean, we're letting Comer do his investigation. He's doing a great job, him and Jim Jordan. But how are we going to get behind these guys and help them? Right, vote. We got to do that. So do us a favor. We're going to cut this one off. We're not going to keep beating the horse into the ground. There's a lot more things that are coming out. But look, this is your Department of Justice. And this little thing where people go, oh my, well, it's not that bad. I mean, they just said it's against the Constitution to subpoena these 4 attorneys. It's called corruption. Again, obstruction. What do you want to name it? There's all kinds of things. They're blocking an investigation from moving forward like they have for the last several years. That's why all of this is getting so drawn out. That's why all of this is taking so long. They keep getting blocked left and right. Our oversight committee is supposed to have information when they need it. When they start an impeachment investigation, the reason they do that is because it opens many more doors to get the information that they need so we can put an end to all of this and find out if it's true or not true. But these guys keep getting blocked. That's why it keeps taking so long. So anyway, I hope you're having a great day, night, whatever it is, wherever you're at. We're going to come back with you with more stuff, see how a little bit of this plays out. And we do love and thank each and every one of you for tuning in, and we look forward to seeing you again. You have a good one. We'll talk to you soon. Bye.